We know that, Pastor, dito sa Kingdom, ginagalang ang mga kababaihan, mga kabataan. What's your comment on this case na sa case ni Elias Amanda?
Yes, thank you, Jean, for that question. So, since their allegations against Pastor is child abuse, human trafficking, sexual abuse to children, take note, to accuse Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy of child abuse is like accusing former President Rodrigo Duterte of drugs. Ganong level po. Kasi Pastor, heartbeat niya po yung mag-alaga ng mga bata. The children are very close to his heart. That's why he established Children's Joy Foundation in 1998 pa po. Ilang milyon na ng bata na natulungan ni Pastor. Continuous, sustainable projects. Neglected, impoverished children, abandoned children. Ganun po. They were fed free education from kinder hanggang nakapagtapos ng college. Iba, pinag-doctorate pa, pinag-aral pa ni Pastor sa law school. Kami yon. Thank you, Pastor, again. So, ganun po ang pag-alaga ni Pastor sa lahat ng mga bata dito. Hindi lang sa mga kingdom citizens. Even sa kahit sino, kahit hindi kilala ni Pastor, not only here in Davao City, whole Philippines, even outside the country. Nakita niyo po ang pinaka-best practice po ng Children's Joy Foundation, ang International Children's Day ni Pastor. Yearly po, all over the country, all over the world po, ang tinutulungan, pinapakain ni Pastor, binibigyan ng, kaya tawag namin dito is the birthday party for children. Kasi yung may maraming bata na hindi pa naka-experience ng birthday dahil because of poverty. Kaya po, lahat, very generous si Pastor when it comes to giving to children. Tapos, child abuse. Yun nga, like I said, it's like accusing former President Rodrigo Duterte of drugs. Yun yung pinakaayaw nila. 'Di ba? Yun yung kumbaga, yun yung favorite nila na kung si PRRD, puksain yung drugs, si Pastor naman alagaan yung mga bata until they grow up, na they can be used in the society, they can contribute, they will not be a burden to this country, but instead, they will continue to, it's a ripple of love. What Pastor gave them, shown them, they will also do the same to the other children. So, ganun po. So, filing child abuse kay Pastor, kaya nga sa 2020 pa lang, dismissed. On what ground? For insufficiency of evidence, lack of probable cause. Meaning po, Pastor has not committed the crime. And that's why ngayon na inaccept po siya sa court, it's like it's a fundamental flaw on the part of the prosecution to present any evidence. Wala talagang evidence, insufficient, lack. Wala talaga. And then here comes, it was revived after 4 years without new evidence, so very questionable. Kaya pending po ang motion for reconsideration. Kaya this, yun nga, it was also mentioned a while ago, before po sa mga warrant of arrest, before po sa bounty, please, resolve first. Resolve, go back to the main issue, to the main case. Resolve first. Kasi it was already dismissed. Again, lahat for lack of evidence. So, walang newfound evidence. New presented evidence, wala. And then, ni-revive. Tapos by bounty. Tapos, merong ng warrant of arrest, simultaneous raids. Diba? It's not acceptable at all. This is not just an issue of few individuals. This is not just an issue of the kingdom of Jesus Christ. This is a question about the fabric of our justice system. We have suffered, we have experienced the injustice. Ano na lang po, yung mga walang boses, yung hindi makalaban, yung wala po silang alam about the justice system. So this concerns not only the kingdom of Jesus Christ, This does not concern only few people like Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy, but this concerns every Filipino citizen. So yan po.
Thank you very much. Ina, would you like to add?
Okay, thank you po. And sa dagdagan ko lang yung sinabi ni Attorney Kino, the safest place I know in this world, especially for women and children, is here in the kingdom of Jesus Christ. Sa pamamahala po mismo yan ni Pastor. And as mentioned na po no, ng ating mga lawyers, wala po talagang ebidensya. In fact, nakikita niyo po kanina sa screen, yan po yung mga talagang resulta po ng pamamahala po ni Pastor. And second, yung kredibilidad po ng mga akusasyon na yun. Sino po ba yung mga yun? Sa pagkakaalam ko pa kasi, heinous po yung record nila dito. Pangalawa, kanino po sila nagsusumbong ngayon? Sino po ang gumagamit sa kanila ngayon? Diyan po sa Senado. Kitang-kita naman po scripted lahat. Na-dismiss ang kaso ngayon, biglang binubuhay. All of this is part of the playbook. Inuulit-ulit po natin para po sirain ang reputasyon ni Pastor. And then, pakilusin po ang otoridad through these allegations na hindi pa nga napapatunayan para i-justify po itong mga injustices na ginagawa po nila. So yun po yung lagay po ng ating bayan ngayon. Ito po ang lagay ng sitwasyon na ang gobyerno po kaya po nilang i-weaponize mismo ang mga ahensya po ng gobyerno para doon sa taong gusto po nilang gurgurin. Diba? As yun po yung nasumisikat ngayon na salita dahil uso nga daw po ang gurguran sa administrasyong ito. So ito po yung katotohanan mga kababayan. Hindi po nagtatago si Pastor, kundi ito pong nangyayari ay dahil injustice po mismo ang ginagawa ng gobyerno. Wala pong justisya dyan. Ina-exercise lang po ni Pastor ang lahat ng kanyang constitutional right available. And we know who Pastor is. Tingnan niyo po ang lahat ng kanyang bunga. Tingnan niyo po ang lahat ng kanyang nagawa. At uulit-ulitin din po, hindi po si Pastor ang kriminal. Hindi po si Pastor ang kalaban. Doon po tayo mag-focus sa totoong issue na kinakaharap po ng ating bansa. Kasi ang bilis yun po yung unang-unang napapansin natin, ang bilis nyo talaga umaksyon pag si Pastor Basta about sa kingdom. So yun po mga kababayan, no? Ang mga kababaihan po dito, ang mga kabataan po dito, lahat po yan inaalagaan ni Pastor. Pinapaaral, dinadamitan, pinapadala sa mga iba-ibang bansa even, di ba? Yun po yung mga testimony din po. Para dahil mga missionary po kami. Nakikita po ninyo ang mga bagay nito, di ba? Yan po yung tinatanim po ni Pastor sa bawat isa at magliliwanag po sa buong sanlibutan. Simple lang po yun At ito pipilit nilang tinatakpan. Kasi pag ang isa pong leader, no, spiritual leader, lalo na lalaki, pag yan po kasi, sabihan nyo lang na may issue ng sexual abuse, human child trafficking, ang bilis po niyan makasira kahit wala pong ebidensya. At ngayon gagamitin ng media, di ba? Lahat ng mainstream, bilis kumagat dyan Even yung mga bayarang mga vlogger Even online, ang bilis na po ngayon talaga na fake news ng paninira. Pero naninindigan po kami dito sa KOJC. Si Pastor po ay inosente. Si Pastor po ang numero 1 nagbibigay ng dignidad sa mga kababaihan. Inaalagaan po ang mga kabataan. Dinidisiplina para po manatili po sa kalooban ng Diyos at maging law-abiding citizen po. At sana po yun ang makita nyo dahil yun po ang katotohanan.
Thank you, Ina. Yes.
Dagdag ko lang, no, kung napag-usapan natin yung pagmamahal, pagmamalasakit ng Pastor sa mga kabataan at mga kababaihan. Hindi lang kasi dito sa Kingdom Nation, gano'n natin naranasan kung paano pa talaga inaarugaan ni Pastor ang mga kabataan, kababaihan. Masahit ko lang yung example doon sa Tamayong, sa yung may prayer mountain ngayon. Kasi for the longest time, walang high school doon sa Tamayong. So yung mga kabataan doon, pag graduate nila ng elementary, hindi na kasi sila makapag-aral ng high school sa Kalinan dahil malayo, they cannot afford it. So ang tendency yung mga bata pa doon, mag-aasawa ng maaga, wala talagang magandang kinabukasan. Hanggang doon lang yung pamumuhay nila. But then sa pag-ibig ni Pastor sa komunidad, pag-ibig ni Pastor sa mga kabataan, hindi lang sa members ng KOJC, yung lupa na tinatarikan ngayon ng Jose T. Quiboloy National High School, dinonate po ni Pastor yan para sa community ng Tamayong at sa tulong din ng DepEd, ng education. napatayo po yung school, yung high school ngayon. Kaya yung mga estudyante, yung mga kabataan natin dun sa Tamayong, nakapag-aaral na ng high school, nakapagtapos na ng college, nabigyan na sila ng magandang kinabukasan. So, sa lahat ng mga naninira na kaagad ganun agad, yung mga accusations na pinapakinggan at pinapaniwalaan nila, magtanong muna kayo. Tingnan nyo muna kung ano talaga yung ginawa ni Pastor. Ano talaga ang pag-aaruga at talagang pagkayo ni Pastor, hindi lang sa QOG sa mga kabataan. Ganun po ang pagmamahal ni Pastor, hindi lang sa Tamayo at marami-marami pa. Paano nagbigay ng yung pang pagkain, sustainable yung nourishment ng mga bata. Kasi makita mo yung mga bata, kulang sa kaalaman, hindi sila makapag-aral. Pagtanong nga, kasi wala silang pagkain, gutom sila na pumapasok sa eskwelahan. Ganon yung mga estudyante doon. At nalaman ni Pastor yun, kaya may feeding program tayo na ilang months kasi para yung nourishment ng mga bata talagang maayos. Kasi so, hindi lang sa birthday ni Pastor yan, pero sustainable yun. Talagang yung Kingdom of Jesus Christ, gumawa talaga ng feeding program sa mga schools para kapag makakain na mga bata na makapag-aral sila ng maayos. So yun lang, papasalamat talaga tayo. Hindi mabilang ang ginagawang kabutihan ni Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy sa komunidad, hindi lang sa Kingdom of Jesus Christ, pero sa lahat sa buong sanlibutan. No? Kasi alam naman natin kung paano po talaga naisiwalat na ang magandang balita at ang buhay na pinangaral ng ating mahal na pastor. Yun lang. Salamat.
Thank you very much,
Ana?
Sir Nori. Yes?
Meron lang akong gustong idagdag rejoinder sa mga sinabi ng abogado. Kasi apparently, wala naman tayong ibang hinihiling, no? But only to act on the motion that were filed before the Department of Justice. Gusto ko lang samantalahin ang pagkakataong ito kasi para manawagan kay Secretary Jesus Remulla, no? Kasi bilang kaibigan, gusto kong manawagan sa kanya, Boying, muntik-muntikan ka nang mamatay, sana naman bago ka pumanaw sa mundong ibabaw, gumawa ka naman ng konting maayos-ayos, no? Wala naman kami, hindi naman hinihiling na you decide in our favor. All we are asking is for you to act on the motion. Kung hindi favorable sa amin, then we can go to the Court of Appeals for the certiorari or for relief, no? Ang wag mo lang gawin, tinulugan nyo na yan 2 taon. Wag nyo nang kawentahin yung panahon ni Duterte dahil wala na yun 2 taon na. Stop blaming Duterte because Duterte has been out of office for the last 2 years. And so are his people. Kayo, 2 taon na kayo dyan. Yun nga, pakiusap ko lang sa iyo, kaibigan. Bago tayo, kasi kamuntik-muntikan na at least may nagawa ka man lang maganda-ganda. Salamat, Boying.
Thank you very much, Sir G. Kasi medyo naging mahaba-haba na rin yung discussion natin. At habang umiinit yung discussion po natin, marami din tayong mga messages na natatanggap mula sa ating mga netizen. At gusto ko lang po ipaabot sa ating legal counsels, no? Na ang tanong dito sa ating mga viewers po, sinasabi po nila, kung inosente po si Pastor, bakit po daw nagtatago si Pastor? Why is he evading the law? Bakit hindi na lang daw mag-surrender sa mga otoridad? What's your comment on this sa ating po mga abogado? Attorney Grion?
He's not evading the law. He's invoking his right as a citizen. It's one of his options to question the finding of probable cause by filing a motion for reconsideration that's within his right. The option that he has taken may be uncomfortable to him, but it is an option which he can exercise. So therefore, he is not evading the law. He is simply exercising his rights under the 1987 Constitution. No, if you will note the background of the case as what has been explicitly discussed for a lot of times already, the cases were already dismissed by the City Prosecution's Office, and it stayed unacted upon by the Department of Justice for more than 3 years. So when it was acted, suddenly it was already unfavorable to him. When the DOJ had the luxury of time for more than 3 years in not acting the case, then Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy also has the right to take the option of insisting on a ruling of the motion for reconsideration that he filed. If it is denied, well, we can go to the Court of Appeals. Perhaps the Court of Appeals would see the light of day and be convinced that he is really innocent of the charges filed against him. So to repeat, he is not evading the law. He is simply invoking his right guaranteed to him by the 1987 Constitution.
Yes, Ka-Eric.
We will address the elephant in the room, so to speak. It is not the first time that a person accused under our judicial system ay nagkaroon po ng option to do self-preservation for guaranteeing his personal safety and security. Hindi po yun evasion, kundi yun po ay human natural reaction to maintain the need to preserve your safety and security in times of clear and present danger, especially against a state that abuses its authority. Example, wag sana ma-offend si Senator Ping Lacson. Si Senator Ping Lacson, Chief of National Police, naging hepe, general. PMA, naging senador. At ang kanya mga tauhan noon na si Colonel Michael Ray Aquino at Colonel Mancao were accused, no, alam to ni Brother Jason of double murder case sa Dacer Sorbito case. Because it was part of a political operation of the GMA administration. They believed that the state administration that time or the government cannot provide fair and objective justice to them. They opted to preserve themselves and sila po ay nag-antay na lumabas ang administrasyong GMA para po maproseso ang katarungang hinahanap nila. Lacson yun Let's go to Gringo Honasan. Senador din ito. Nauna itong nakuha ni Brother Jason na impormasyon kasi high school pa ako noon. Inakusahan sila ng rebellion complex with murder. Inimbento na krimen ng aking kababayan na si Senator Drilon who happens to be the classmate of late Miriam Santiago. Magkaklase yung mga yan So kilala ko mga ito. Hindi rin na pumayag sina Gringo Honasan at mga kasama niya sa RAM na abutin sila ng isang kamay ng bingatibong administrasyon ni late Cory Aquino. Okay. Ito pa, mga dati kong kasama, panahon na ni Rodrigo Duterte, mga kababayan, sa Toro Campo, Lisa Masa, and Paing Mariano, they were issued with warrant of arrest in, I think, attorney to 2021. Hindi sila nag-surrender. Nagtago sila at inantay nilang makwash ang warrant sa korte. Kasi they believed there was an abuse on the part of the prosecutor to file the cases at kinatigan sila ng korte. Under the Duterte government, they were not hunted down with bounty. Makinig ka nga, please, Secretary Abalos. So sa mga nagtatanong, sa mga kay Ed Linggao, hindi po pambihirang pagkakataon na ang isang Pastor Quiboloy ay opted to do self-preservation and safety protection dahil po papatayin at kakatayin siya ng estado na mapanupil at gobyernong walang patutunguhan kundi gumamit ng dahas at mga instrumento sa kanyang mga kinakalaban perceived to be political enemies that include Pastor Quiboloy and now even the kingdom of Jesus Christ. So yun po yung legal explanation ni Attorney Torion. Ito naman po ang pananaw ko sa punto ng isang ordinaryong mamamayan. Hindi po siya tumatakas sa batas at katarungan. Inaalagaan niya pong mabuhay siya at maiwasan po ang isang napakadelikadong estado at instrumento nito na siyang kinakaharap niya ngayon. In the first place, ikukorek ako ng mga abogadong nandito, 3 sila. Hindi ibig sabihin pag inakusahan ka, guilty ka. At hindi rin ibig sabihin na kapag may kaso ka, nawawala ang karapatan mo for presumption of innocence prior to declaration of guilt upon prosecution and finding of the court. Yun lang po.
Thank you, Ka-Eric. Just a follow-up po sa ating mga abogado kasi lumalabas kasi sa media, laging term na ginagamit na fugitive si Pastor, no? But is Pastor Apollo considered a fugitive of justice considering that he has not yet been convicted? Ito kasi yung napapanood, nababasa ng publiko, no? Yun ang piniping sa kanya na fugitive si Pastor. Attorney Carrion?
Alam mo, maggawa na lang siguro ako ng libro nito. Yung fugitive from justice, illegally under our present dispensation, he is not. Rodriguez versus Comelec, which was decided on July 24, 1996, will explain that he cannot be considered as a fugitive from justice because he has not yet been convicted, no? And he is still facing a case, and there is still a question as to the charge aspect, no? We are still questioning his indictment. So if you follow Rodriguez versus Comelec, he is not a fugitive from justice. If you follow Labao versus Comelec, which was decided on July 19 of 2016, you cannot also consider him as a fugitive from justice simply because of the fact that there must be evidence that he is evading the operations of the law. So, absent evidence that he is really evading the operations of the law, then you could not, conclude that he is, he is a fugitive from justice. Why? Because even if you are still being charged and there is a seeming belief that you are avoiding prosecution, that is not already evidence that you are a fugitive from justice. If you take a look at Black's Law, which is actually a reliable dictionary, if you define a fugitive from justice based on Black's Law, it means that he is a person who, having committed a crime, flees from the jurisdiction of the court where the crime was committed, or departs from his usual place of abode and conceals himself within the district. There is no evidence that Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy has already fled or has already left the jurisdiction of the Republic of the Philippines. There are rumors that he is already in China. As a matter of fact, one text message or two text messages I received, no? Na-erase ko lang, sayang na ba? Na meron daw, submarino daw, galing daw sa China at kinuha daw sila pastor at dinala sa China. I hope totoo yun, no? Pero hindi ko ma-confirm yan. Kasi kung totoo yun, then there may be a ground na if we follow Black's Law definition, that he is a fugitive from justice, no? If you follow Black's Law definition. Now, what else? King versus Noe. King versus Noe is a U.S. Decision where the U.S. Supreme Court states that a fugitive from justice is a person who, having committed or been charged with a crime, has left its jurisdiction and is found within the territory of another when it is sought to subject him to the crime or to the criminal processes of the former state. Again, there is that element that the person must be found in another jurisdiction before that person can be considered as a fugitive from justice. Hodges versus DeFlange is likewise another U.S. Supreme Court decision where the U.S. Supreme Court said that he is a person who, having committed within a state a crime when sought for in order to be subjected to criminal process, is found within the territory of another state. Hodges, again, cannot be applied insofar as Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy because there is no proof that he was really brought by a submarine from China and is now in China. There is no proof that he is already in another jurisdiction. As a lawyer, I can even interpose, maybe he is in a state of glorification, that he is merely in a certain place and unaware of the proceedings against him. That is also a probability. And therefore, since that is a probability, you could not therefore argue that he is, in fact, a fugitive from justice. I do hope and pray that all of those explanations would suffice in concluding that Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy cannot be legally considered as a fugitive from justice.
Thank you very much, Attorney Torian. Yes, Attorney Adam.
And I want to further add on the stand of Dean that indeed Pastor Quiboloy is not a fugitive from justice based on his citations from Rodriguez versus Comelec, the 1996 case, up to the U.S. Jurisprudence that he cited. But the latest legal basis that I could cite for this is the March 11, 2024 law, which was enacted by the Congress itself. This is the Republic Act 11983, or the New Philippine Passport Act, whereby that law, particularly Section 3, Paragraph J, defined the technical definition of what a fugitive from justice is. It has been defined by that provision that a fugitive from justice refers to those who flee under the following circumstance. The only circumstance that it cited is after conviction by a Philippine court to avoid prosecution. In the case at bar, there was no conviction yet. In fact, he was not yet arraigned. He was not yet been subjected. He was the jurisdiction over the person of Pastor Quiboloy has not been acquired yet. So it is unfair for the state or for the media and even Secretary Abalos tagging Pastor Quiboloy as pugante, just like what he said, keep on mentioning yesterday in a press briefing.
Yes, Sister Nori.
Good evening once again. Napag-usapan yung nasabi yata ni General Marbil na he's not a pastor, referred to Pastor Quiboloy, he is a fugitive. Na-explain ng maayos ng ating legal team kung ano yung fugitive. Ito naman ako sa term ng pastor. Hinay-hinay tayo sa pag-touch ng pagiging pastor ng ating mahal na pastor, Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy. Una sa lahat, ang gumawa ng pastor kay pastor, alam natin ang Diyos na Ama. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng pastor? Ang pastor yung nag-aalaga at nag-aaruga sa kanyang mga tupa ni shepherd. Ano pala itong kongregasyon ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ? Ito lang ang reminder sa lahat. No? Please do not tread on dangerous ground when you touch pastors being a pastor of the flock of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ. As is said in Psalms 105:15, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. So this is a warning to those who are accusing pastor. Kung maka-persecute kayo, walang habas. So this is just a reminder and a warning to everyone. Tsaka yung sinabi na fugitive si pastor o nag-i-evade siya sa law. For us, Kingdom of Jesus Christ, full-time miracle workers and members, we do understand and we are really praying for our beloved pastor's protection. It's like a story in the Bible, no? But what happened with a weak king, Ahab, and his wicked wife, Jezebel. Queen Jezebel, she's so wicked that he wanted to kill the prophet Elijah. That's why it was God who hid Elijah. He was hidden because to protect him, no, and to safeguard him para to preserve his life so that when the time comes, he can perform his mission that God has given him. So yun, magkaiba yun. Huwag kayo basta na lang magsabi na he's not a pastor, he's a fugitive. So yun ang stand ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Our beloved pastor will remain a pastor. Ano man ang accusations na ginagawa ninyo. Kaya dahan-dat, hinay-hinay kayo sa mga sinasabi ninyo. At sa lahat ng mga legal, at ito na may mga legal team tayo. Pero this war, this spiritual war is going beyond this physical realm. Kaya alam naman natin, this battle is raging on. Yung mga psychological warfare ninyo, mga pananakot ninyo, kung ano man ang mga ginagawa ninyo, mga playbook dyan, wala yang sinasabi sa kapangyarihan ng aming dakilang Ama. Kaya sa lahat ng mga nangyayari ngayon, may orchestration ng Ama. He will intervene in the affairs of this nation. And time will come that the truth and justice will really prevail because you cannot hide darkness from the light because the light has already come and truth will really come out. So yun lang. So sa lahat, yun nga, ano man ang mga accusation nyo kay Pastor, it will never change that he is our pastor, he is our shepherd, he watches over the flock of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ.
Thank you very much, Sister Nori. nakailang press conference na po tayo at nailatag na po natin na maraming beses from the side of our legal counsel and the side ng KOJC na maraming violation sa karapatan ni Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy sa kanyang maraming injustices ay nawa mismo ang gobyernong ito. I'd just like to have tanungin ko lang po yung members ng ating panel, no? Kasi sinabi ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos that he will exercise all the compassion to Pastor, whom he've known for a very long time. With what happened sa KOJC, which we consider a day of infamy on June 10, 2024, can we still say na this administration, did they really exercise compassion? I think kunin ko muna yung side ng KOJC. Unahin ko muna si Brother Carlo.
Mag-1 month na po, wala po tayong narinig sa kay Marcos Jr. Tahimik na tahimik po.
Very compassionate.
When they said that they really will exercise compassion. Ang gobyerno ito ay wala pong pag-ibig sa bayang Pilipinas. For a month na po ngayon, this very moment, wala po tayong narinig kahit na po inapak-apakan yung ating karapatang pantao, kahit na po ginigipit po tayong mga inosente po, wala po tayong narinig. Bagkus po, ginagawa po nilang scapegoat ang lahat ng para tabunan ang totoong nangyayari sa sosyedad at sa komunidad po natin. Sa totoong problema po na nangyayari sa bansa po natin. Ginagawa po nilang pantakip ang issue ngayon kay Pastor po. Kaya po, pag sinabi niyong in-extend of full compassion ang kalang ibibigay para kay Pastor, not even a single thing na naalala ko. Yung time po na sinabi ni Pastor, tinanong po kayo, Marcos Jr., na may kinalaman ba ang Amerika? Wala po kayong sagot nun, direktang sagot nun. Tinawanan nyo palang, parang kinoconfirm nyo po ang pagiging bangag nyo po. Tinatawanan nyo lang po. Yung mga serious question and serious issues, tinatawanan nyo lang po kahit po hindi nakakatawa. Ganun pong klaseng Pangulo, meron po tayo. Kaya dito po sa bansang Karian, mananatili po kaming tinatayuan sa katotohanan. Ito po mga comments na sinasabi naman po nila na bakit hindi na lang daw namin isurrender si Pastor kasi kawawa na yung mga bata, matanda, nagbabantay po dyan sa labas. Kung alam po namin saan si Pastor, hindi rin po namin isusurrender lahat po ng mga kasamahan. Kasi po, inosente po silang lahat. Kung kayo po sa pamilya ninyo, kayo po nakakaalam kung sino yung pamilya niyo, di ba? Tapos inakusahan po ng ganito. Alam nyo, inosente yung pamilya ninyo. Isusurrender ba ninyo? Sino po nakakaalam kay Pastor? Kayo ba na nandyan sa labas o kami na nandito sa loob? If you want to know who Pastor is, then live with us. Diyan nyo mapapatunan kung sino talaga si Pastor. And you demonize it. Ginawa nyo na parang kami yung the greatest syndicate criminal sa buong bansa. Parang tinag nyo kami as terorista. Sindikato. Ganun po ang paglalarawan ninyo sa amin. Pero kami dito sa Karian naman, naturuan po kami ng aming mahal na Pastor. That indeed, ang ipapakita po namin ay pag-ibig. Kahit ano pong pag-intimidate po ninyo, pananakot po ninyo, the Word of God said, love casteth away fear. Kaya pinapakita po namin pag-ibig, pagtupad sa kalooban naman. Because indeed, we cannot defeat hate with another hate. That is what Pastor said. We can only defeat hate with love. Praise the Father.
Thank you, Brother Carlo. Would you like to add, Sister Nori?
Peace President speaks one thing and does another. So lahat mga sinasabi niya, wala namang natutupad, kabaliktaran nga eh. Kaya yung compassion na sinasabi niya, nabaliktarin niyo, yun. So wala tayong naasahan dito sa kanya.
Sa ating legal counsel po, would you like to add po? Sister Kate. Attorney Kay.
So with his statement, he will exercise all the compassion to Pastor Quiboloy, whom we have known for a very long time. Prove it. Okay, so you have seen already all the evidences, the videos, the CCTV, what happened in the day of infamy last June 10. And then it's 1 month na, 30 days now. Tomorrow, July 10 na, di ba?
Yes,
1 month anniversary
yes,
na po. Mansari na. So, prove mo. If you will really show compassion, show love, this is the time, parang every time you speak, no one will listen, no one will trust you anymore. Because sa 20 pesos na bigas, hindi mo na kayang panindigan, ito pa kaya. So, again, go back to your constitutional mandate to serve and protect the people. Okay, you are there, we elected you, the sovereignty emanates from the people, kami ang naglagay sa iyo dyan, and now, do your job. Okay. Ang request lang namin is, if you're still listening, if you still have that compassion as you claim to have, is respect the right to due process of Pastor Quiboloy, not only of Pastor, even yung 5 co-accused, as well as the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, who also members who suffered also last June 10, yung 2 indigenous people na namatay. Please, balikan nyo naman. Magparamdam naman kayo doon sa pamilya. Yung mga hindi na pwedeng iwan sa bahay kasi takot na takot, balikan nyo po sila. Okay? Kahit mag-debriefing na lang kayo, magpadala na lang kayo ng tulong. If human rights, please do your job. Okay? You are the head of the state. You have all this duty that is already enshrined in the Constitution. Just yun na lang, kahit setting aside yung extending extra love and compassion, just do what is mandated for you to do. Just follow what is given to you, mandated to you by the Constitution. So yun lang po, just act the talk. Thank you.
I don't know whether yung salitang compassion ay nawala kay Bonget Marcos. Ako naniniwala meron siya. Kasi isipin mo yung nahuli sa Ayala Alabang na drug lord, pinakawalan, isinama sa state visit. Hindi ba compassion yun?
Very compassionate.
Yun lang ho.
Thank you for that compassionate statement, Sir Jay. This is my last question to the members of the panel. For the record, 1 month na po after the day of infamy. July 10 na po. And this is my final question. Nakikita po ba natin po, kayo po sa ating panel po, itong gobyerno po natin, yung mga persecution na ginagawa nila kay Pastor, sa KOJC, is this a cover-up, para matabunan yung realities on the ground? Hanggang ngayon, walang nangyayari dun sa pangako na 20 pesos na bigas. Marami ang nagugutom. Mga OFWs, napuntahan ko. Recently, Hong Kong and Japan, marami tayong Pilipinong nakausap dyan, and they are so dissatisfied sa ginagawa ng gobyernong ito. Ang sinasabi ng mga OFW po natin, ng mga kababayan, bakit hindi na po sapat ang pera po namin na pinapadala sa Pilipinas? Na dati naman nung panahon ni Pangulong Duterte, sapat yung pera. Ngayon hindi, dahil nagtataasan na lahat ng presyo ng pangunahing bilihin. Sa ating member of si Pastor bilang scapegoat po, ano pong masasabi niyo? Unahin ko lang po si Ka Eric po.
I think both. Hindi lang po scapegoat si Pastor Quiboloy. As part ng displacement theory sa tinatawag natin sa physics, at the same time sa social engineering, social movement engineering, na magkaroon ka ng pagkakalituhan ng masa, ang taong bayan. Both si Pastor Quiboloy target din. Hindi lang siya scapegoat, kundi target mismo. Dahil bahagi siya ng political infrastructure ng isang political force that is a threat to the consolidation and retention of power of the Marcoses. Doon yun nanggagaling ang hugot eh. If the Dutertes are just like GMA or ERAP, ang kanilang kategorya, and Pastor is associated with them, wala. Hindi ganito ang trato kay Pastor. So Pastor is both a scapegoat and at the same time a target. Because he happens to be, I should say, at the right place at the right time. Kung saan kailangan magkaroon ng tamang pagtindig sa bayan, doon siya nangyari. Hindi mali ang panahon na naitakda para kay Pastor. Because hindi natin iniisip na ang redemption na sinasabi natin para sa mga Marcoses was nothing about the people but only about them. Ang redemption nila ay para lamang sa sarili nila. At sa press conference na ito ay malaki ang pagsisisi ko. Doon sa prosesong tumulong ako, kaming mga dating rebelde na nagbalik loob, tumulong kami with Pastor in SMNI to provide a counter-narrative against the overwhelming attacks of political operations against them in the elections. Because we hope na ipagpapatuloy niya ng tama. Doon siya. He ran on the platform of continuity, not more of unity. Kaya siya sinuporta ng taong bayan. At pangalawa, we gave him a chance because sabi nga natin, kung nagkamali ang tatay sa isang takdang panahon sa kasaysayan, hindi naman mangangahulugang mauulit absolutely ng anak ang pagkakamali. Pero mali pala yung paghatol na yun. So saan ang lugar dito ni Pastor Kibuloy sa kanyang mga pinagdadaanan at ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ? Sa pagtingin ko, this is the acid test for the Marcos government. Dito magmumula ang pwedeng paglubha ng krisis politikal ng Marcos government, the way they are handling right now, the crisis with Kingdom of Jesus Christ and Pastor Kibuloy. Ito ang ikinababahala ko. I am not instigating, but I am looking at a possibility of a religious movement that is similar to a resistance movement if ipipilit nilang ganito ang gagawin sa Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Kung minaso ninyo at binatiriram ang gate ng Iglesia ni Cristo sa Quezon City, sigurado kong dumanak ng dugo. At digmaan, magkakaroon ng civil war, sigurado ko doon. But you underestimated the Kingdom of Jesus Christ. May hangganan din po ang pagtingin ng taong bayan sa ginagawa nyo sa Kingdom of Jesus Christ at kay Pastor Kibuloy. Hindi lahat ng panahon na dinadaanan natin sa kasalukuyang gobyernong Marcos ay takip silim para sa mamamayan at laging liwanag ng bukang liwayway ng abuso at pagkagahaman at pagkalasing sa kapangyarihan ang nangingibabaw. This will really be an acid test for them. Magkaiba po itong binagdadaanan na ito. So ang sagot ko sa tanong na yon, Pastor Kibuloy, the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, His leaders and members nila, ang nagsisilbing pwedeng mitsa o pwedeng maging daan ng pagpihit ng pagtingin ng gobyernong Marcos kung paano panghawakan at i-exercise ang poder. Either baguhin niya or palalain niya. It's his call.
Maraming salamat ka, Eric. Sir Jay?
Ako kuwan hopelessly romantic. Despite the overwhelming development sa politika, sa bansa, maraming sa ganun. Ang problema natin, tayong mga Kristiyano at Muslim dito sa Mindanao, ang orientation natin ay kapayapaan. Kaya nga yung mga kapatid nating Muslim, pag sumigaw yan ng Allahu Akbar, ang ibig sabihin niyan peace, kapayapaan, God be with us, no? Ganon din sa Kristiyanong pamamaraan. Kung bagamat sa lumang tipan, ay may sinasabing mata sa mata, ngipin sa ngipin, tayo naman sa mga bagong panahon, ang tinuturo sa atin ng ating mga leader ay to kill them with kindness. No? Perhaps, hindi pa naman huli ang lahat. No? Ang malaking pagbabago sa anyo ng lipunan o ito ay siyang gugupo, no? sa isang rehimen na mas bangag pa sa bangag, no? So yun lang ko. Ako mananalangin ako na sana anong tawag nito, malamdagan unta sila sa kaayo o sa mayong kabubuton o kay kinirabang yawa bisag asa ra bagya ni. Muna itong kalaban. Actually, hindi natin kalaban si Marcos. Ang kalaban natin dito, yung demonyo Hindi, pero hindi ko sinasabing demonyo si Marcos, ha? Salamat po.
Thank you, Sir Jay. Attorney Adam?
I would say that itong nangyayari ngayon is basically a breaking point on the part of the administration, whether it will push the agenda na sinusulong nila will be implemented or it will break them. So same with the previous speakers, I agree with them na they have to consider their political move, because one more step, it will either break them or make them. So you better think better this time.
Thank you, Attorney. Attorney Tolentino? Sorry, Attorney Torion. Gising pa po ako.
Well, I have always tried my best to make everything or to assess everything legally, no? And but in the course of my assessment, I cannot help but think that there is nothing legal actually in the moves on the part of this administration as against Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy. In the finding of probable cause, I find it very discomforting because there was really no probable cause. And the outright filing of the case against him, despite the fact that there was no probable cause, and the lack of action on the part of the DOJ insofar as the motion for reconsideration, coupled with the precipitate and the illegal service of warrants of arrest, make me believe that perhaps this is really a distraction. No? This is no longer legal, but a political move in order to divert away the nation's attention from the basic problems besetting the country nowadays. The economic problems that we are facing, the 20 pesos rise that he promised, which has remained unfulfilled, the West Philippine Sea debacle, which has threatened into becoming a full-blown war, widespread corruption. So the only possible conclusion that can be reached is the fact that this is really a diversionary tactic in order to draw away the attention of the people into looking at the real problems besetting the country, while at the same time confirming the fact that Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy is indeed a very nice target. Because if he is targeted, then SMNI is targeted. And if SMNI is targeted, then there will be no media face anymore on the part of the opposition, because in effect, the Duterte group has now become the opposition. So if Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy and his followers are silenced, SMNI is silenced, then there is no more threat insofar as this administration is concerned. So to answer the question, it is a diversionary tactic, and it just so happened that Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy is also a very model and very intriguing but very inviting target.
Thank you very much, Attorney Torion. Attorney Kay?
Siguro, because they have already discussed the political views, there are also the legal views. I've also cited some of my legal views a while ago. So let me speak now as a full-time miracle worker po of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Now let's go to the spiritual. In my opinion po, kasi what's happening here right now sa Kingdom of Jesus Christ under, kami lahat na train po ni Pastor, quoting 1 Corinthians, we're pressed but not crushed, persecuted but not abandoned, we're crushed down but we're not destroyed. Bakit? Because Pastor's teachings, are in our hearts, in our minds. It's alive. Kaya if you're asking, where's Pastor? He has replicated po to millions of sons and daughters. Kaya naging living testimony po what happened in June 10. You see the reaction of every full-time miracle worker, of every Kingdom Miracle member, lahat ng teaching ni Pastor. Loving your enemies, diba? Humility. All the teachings nasa heart and mind na ng bawat Kingdom citizen. So maybe in the political or legal views po, yes, Pastor is really oppressed. He is suffering injustice na it's very blatant na disregard of his constitutional rights. Siya na siguro ang pinaka-oppressed na tao in this generation, just like in the times of Jesus Christ 2,000 years ago. Walang due process. Automatic na, diretso na. He was crucified without being, without going through trial. But in these times today, you have seen talaga, Pastor, the finished product of all of your teachings throughout these years. It has produced much fruits po, Pastor. So, kaya it has become a testimony that this June 10 Day of Infamy has turned the curse into blessings. Kahit saan, kahit sa Kitbog pa yon, even yung mga members outside the Kingdom compound, although yes, they suffered also injustice, their basic constitutional rights was also violated, but you see the reaction. Lahat po yan ng Kingdom citizens na naturuan ni Pastor. Nakita niyo po ang humility, ang love beyond measure, even after the raid, even after na almost na talaga, grabe, tragic ang ginawa, but still pinakain sila. Yan po ang turo ni Pastor. So he is really our model. He is really the manifestation of the words, the teachings of our Lord Jesus Christ. That's why he is the appointed Son of God. Praise the Father.